for anybody watching, I'm Shannon, if you don't know. We have Natty and Davin here, and we all, once upon a time, used to hang out in Hollywood and just be crazy party people. And Davin is really interesting, and I'm excited to have him on the show because he has such a freaking interesting, crazy life. And so, can you just like tell us all about it? Like, tell us, like, start from the beginning.
Oh my gosh, the beginning. All right, quick. I mean, I grew up in LA, so when I was a kid, I did a bunch of commercials and TV shows. I mean, I think like I was 4 or 5, my first like national commercial. And back then it was like print jobs, like, you open the paper and like JC Penney and like, there I am, like, yeah, like for all that stuff. And then I did some like movies and commercials and TV shows. And it's funny, some of the stuff pops up. There's like a different world is on like Netflix right now. Look, Giovanna, like showing my kids, like I'm like popping up. I don't know, it's funny, but that was a long, long, long time ago. And then I went to San Diego State. But after college, like before I went to college, me and my buddy like made a little cassette tape that shows how old we are. I kind of taught him how to play drums. He taught me how to play guitar. We made like we're like a 2-man band, and we made some original songs. And we put a cassette tape together, and it kind of got passed around. And somehow I was like, hey, like I don't know, we were like kind of a band. Um, and so when I studied abroad in Florence, Italy, my junior year of college, I came back to finish at San Diego. He finished at USC. Literally, once we graduated, we started touring. We like basically toured the world for like 8 years. We got a few guys, and we were like the biggest unsigned independent band that at one point, and all over Germany and Austria and Switzerland and Japan and England. I mean, it was freaking with all the Warp tours. That was it. So
Tell
that's
them what the band
really
was called.
never heard of it. Never heard of it. NHOI.
Yeah.
Um, and we've been talking a lot lately. Honestly, it's been like 20 years, and like we're all thinking like maybe we should record some songs and kind of do some. Kind of I've thrown out a little teasers here and there. People are like, yes, dude. Oh my god. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get back at Warp Tour. Had like a little reunion this year, some reunion shows, and like something like that would be cool. Or like the When We Were Young Fest, or I don't know. I don't think any of us want to leave our families and go on tour. You know what I mean? We're like one of the hardest working touring bands for so many years. That's what kind of led us into like Hollywood, where I met you guys, you and Natty, and because we toured for like 8 years, and then they moved us into the Oakwood Apartments. If you guys remember that, it's like where
Yes.
everybody
Oh my
stays
God, that's
when.
so funny.
And at the time, like Miley Cyrus was living there. We didn't know Miley. We just knew Billy Ray Cyrus and his daughter. And she's going to be this little Disney star, this little girl running around at the pool. And we were actually living in Rick James' room. They're like every time we'd like throw parties in the apartment, literally, they're like the securities would come and like, dude, Rick James did here? We're like, hell yeah! And that was right when Dave Chappelle with the thing was big. Like I'm Rick James, bitch. So we like put it on, and we're like feeling the vibes. We're like, dude, Rick James literally died right here in this room. Like, it's kind of funny. Well, so I'm kind of like, that's how I ended up in Hollywood after touring for so long. And then during that time, we were like, talking with like Warner Brothers. We had like the biggest producers and direct all this stuff going on in our band was going to take it to the next level. And I was always the guy that liked to go out. So I would like some people would stay and write music. Some people would like smoke weed. I'm like the party guy. So I put on MySpace, way back in MySpace days. Like I'm going out to whatever. And a bunch of people would come out. And I remember Danny B, shout out to Danny B, the first guy that ever gave me a shot promoting. He told me like, dude, if you show up with this many people, you can get paid a lot of money. I'm like, really? Like I was just trying to like have fun. Like how soon could I do it? Like how about Friday? Like it was like a Wednesday. So Friday I showed up and like I got all this food for free, like awesome, freaking amazing food, bottles. I'm like, dude, and he paid me like $2,000. I'm like, dude, you're gonna pay me to come and have fun and party? Like, how many days a week could I do this? So we kind of turned into like, and then our band kind of fizzled out because everyone kind of found their own little, something. And it was the first time in like many years that we all got to like hang out with a girl for longer than like 2 days, because we were always just traveling. And so that time of being there, working on a record and all that stuff is ultimately what like, we're all like, this is nice. Maybe we should take more of a break. And like, we never had like an official break. It was just like, we enjoyed the break and I went this way and, and that's where I ended up like promoting clubs. Wait, we must have met pretty soon after that, right, Natty?
Yeah,
I wonder.
I would have been like 18 or 19. Um, using a rocking my fake ID, like
And it's so fun. Like honestly, I didn't even necessarily know what I was doing. I don't know. Me and Natty were talking about this the other day. It was such a different time. Like, you know what I mean? Like the whole party scene. And of course, like I knew a lot of, people in bands and celebrities and this and that. It was just a natural thing to like call friends that I guess were well known and go out together. And it kind of turned into this, I don't know, like a,
like an empire. It was like, well, this is also the time when like TMZ was first be really big. When they were really reporting, this is when Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan were stumbling out of clubs every weekend. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like it was like the time for that. Like
yeah.
I don't know if people are still doing that. I mean, Shannon and I have talked about this. I don't participate in TMZ or Us Weekly because I feel like it's shitty to creep in on people like that. I think they traffic in other people's misery personally. But I don't know if people still club like this or if it was just then. I also think we've taken a shift where like sober is the new fucked up. And I don't know if that's because of our age or if like young kids, but I have kids like teenagers and kids in their early 20s and they don't get fucked up. But back then it was like such a thing we did. Like, and remember DJ weekends were like amateur hour, like the real party people went out like Tuesday through Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was just like totally normal to end up at like, Paris Hilton's, parents' house. You know what I mean? At like 4 in the morning. And then it's like 7, 8 in the morning. We're like, I'm like skating a half pipe out. I'm like at freaking, Paris Hilton's house. Like, and whatever. And it was just every night it was like, where's this? Where's that? And you didn't realize, now looking back at it, it's like, dude, we lived such a freaking crazy life.
Yeah.
And it was, it was always an after party, and man, like I can't, what I always think about is, I thought that was completely normal, and I thought that's what I was going to do for the rest of my life, and I didn't really think about it. Like I was just, I guess
What
this is
did you
my life.
What did you think you were going to do for the rest of your life? Be like a rock star?
Well,
I mean, you still are a rock star.
that's
I mean, yeah, that's true.
at one point that, yeah, but I was just kind of like, going with the flow, and like life was great, life was easy, life was, simple, but
Yeah.
like all the people that I would like, I remember thinking like all these dudes with these big old freaking houses and, nice cars. And they're, I'm bringing over all these young girls and they're like 50, whatever years old. They're still hanging. I'm like, dude, they got the life, dude. Those are the coolest people ever. Now I'm looking back. I'm like, dude, I would never want that. Like now that I have kids and like there'd be no substance. But I also think like, I don't think that I ever thought about that I would live past, 30 something years old, and I didn't care to. I mean, I didn't know. I mean, I don't think I ever wanted to die, but I was just like, yeah, I mean, the way that the way that it is
Wait,
now.
I'm like shocked to hear you say that because I thought I was the only one that thought like back in the day that like I wasn't gonna grow like to be older or like be like I wanted to be a mom and have a family, but I just thought like the way that I'm living, like I'm not gonna last very long? So it's crazy to hear you say that. So like what were you doing that made you think that?
I think it's just like the fast paced life, and honestly, like being around a lot of drugs and all that stuff. I wasn't the guy that did drugs. I like drinking and stuff. Like
Me too.
some of the drugs, like it just didn't work for me. It wasn't my jam. But I would totally be out all night, you know what I mean? Like
Yep. Same
um,
here.
it is what it is. I mean, it was what it was. All those were just, I think it was just organic, right? I mean, it's just that you didn't know until the night. I mean, Ledoux, like I was promoting a club Ledoux, which was like legendary.
Oh my God, it was.
Rock Mondays. I mean, everybody to this day will talk about, Rock Mondays at Ledoux. Um, and it would always be like, where's the after party? I mean, I had a song. I'm on Hollywood and Highland. I'm looking for something to do. There's a party at Ledoux. Wait, I don't know. Forget it. Empty. Forget about that part of it. But I did like other random like little things, YouTube channel here and there, and that part's actually kind of funny. The YouTube thing. I'll come back to that.
Yeah, I
um,
want to hear about that for sure.
um, but the
On a
whole
side note,
ending
really
up.
quick,
Wait,
isn't
what?
Paris Hilton so nice?
Do I what?
I said, isn't Paris Hilton so nice?
Yeah, like
Like the
and
coolest, right?
yeah, totally. And the one specific night that I'm like ultimately thinking of, it was like, it was Baron and like, I mean, a whole, Chris Carney, it was like, remember Chris
Rest
Carney,
in
rest in
peace,
peace,
prom
along with,
kings, right?
yeah. Oh my gosh. And that, I mean, there's so many people I could say rest in peace since
Yeah.
I've left Hollywood. And that to me is the crazy thing. I tell my oldest son's 11, Giovanni. I always say, dude, how he saved my life. Meeting my wife, Cece, saved my life. Everybody is freaking gone. I was talking to my dad like a few months ago, and he's like, dude, you shouldn't have lost. You shouldn't be losing all these friends quicker than I'm losing friends at 73 years old. I'm like, I know, dude, it's freaking crazy. It's just I feel like every month I get another call of somebody, boom, heart attack, brain aneurysm, overdose, shot in his car. Like, it's just so nuts. And so many reminders like, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm like not in that world anymore. But as I said earlier, like absolutely no regrets. Like I didn't know that I was even, I mean, I don't think we did anything wrong. We were just living the life that we were supposed to live at that age, at that time period, right? Like,
Well, and
I mean, I
everything
don't
that
know.
you did brought you to where you are now. Like I find it so interesting, like the club promoting and all that stuff. How personable you are. Totally parlayed you into a really kick-ass actual career for you. Where
Yeah.
you can support your family in whatever lifestyle. Like, I think it all worked out okay, and I feel so blessed that we came through that rabbit hole relatively unscathed.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, the
no
fact that
permanent damage done.
we're all sitting here right now, not just alive and breathing, but also like we all are married and have kids and families. Like, who would have ever
Who
thought
would have thought?
like Natty and I would be gardening and like growing food for our families, like from where we were now. And like you have a very successful business, now, right? Like you're working in Florida. Are you selling timeshares? Like what's your business?
Yeah, I'm working for Travel and Leisure and I've been doing it for like 10 and a half, almost 11 years, believe it or not. It's
And
kind
do
of
you love
crazy.
it? I feel like you're
I
so
love
good
it.
at it, obviously.
No, I love it. It's the greatest job in the world. It literally doesn't feel like a job. Like, I always say I have a job that doesn't feel like a job.
Yeah.
Because all I really do is literally bless people with vacation. I mean, I talk about the importance of vacation and how important it is to spend time with your family. And
Yeah.
tomorrow's not promised to anybody. So like, there's nobody that could have more passion in spending time with your family more than me. And just knowing that, you know what I mean? Like, dude, tomorrow might not come. So, the last thing you're going to ever want is say, I wish I would have. And a lot of times I'm getting together with like somebody in a funeral, and it's like, dude, let's not have reunions at funerals. Let's get together before. Let's not have that the reason why we're getting together. And that's
Yeah.
why I just care so much about what I do because the ones that actually, I basically sit down with somebody that's on vacation. They sit down with me for an hour and a half, and I just throw it out there. Look, you're going to like this or you won't. You can afford it or you can't. I'm the easiest dude here. Like, I'm not in a freaking suit. You know what I mean? I'm like the most laid back. In fact, they didn't even want to hire me. Like nobody in this company wanted to hire me. And the ongoing joke in this company is like, dude, the guy that nobody wanted to hire is still here and he freaking wins like President's Club Rep of the Year every year. Like the dude that looks crazy and weird and you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
We don't think you look weird. We think like you look awesome. I
I
feel like
think so.
you're our people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
But
feel
for this
like time
industry
hasn't
and
hit
for what they
you.
were looking for, you know what I mean? I wasn't like hey, they're like, what do you know about sales? I'm like, nothing. They're like, why do you want to do this? I don't know. My friend said I should do it. Like, I'm like, we were living in Hollywood, and this is what really transitioned me out. So like, we were living at the Jefferson in Hollywood, right there in Hollywood and Highland. And again, pre-parties at my place, we go to the club, after parties at my place, whatever, right? Limos to Vegas. I was doing Sundays and Mondays, doing the pool parties over there, Wet Republic and stuff like that. So it was just nonstop. How many days a week could I get? Because the more days I'm doing, the more money I'm making. And it was just fun more than
Yeah.
same kind of thing. I had a job that didn't feel like a job, but and my wife, when I met Cece, she was super cool with everything. I met she was cool with other girls. She was cool with friends. She wasn't jealous. She was just cool like Natty. Like we're just all homies. But halfway through her pregnancy, I come home like thinking I'm like doing something bringing her a favor. Like I come home with like 3 girls or whatever, and you walk into my condo, my apartment, there's a stripper pole, there's like lights going, and I'm like, what up, Cease? And she's like however many months pregnant, like, dude, this is not working and this is not going to continue to work. I'm like, I thought you'd be stoked. She's like, no, dude, I'm literally like, I'm gonna have a baby in like 3, you know what I mean? Whatever. So that was kind of the light bulb went off. Like, maybe I should think about doing something different. Like, I don't know if this is gonna fly. Like, these hours and like this career, whatever. There's a few things that were, and also right when that happened, like one of my old roommate before I met Cece, I had a roommate, cool dude. And he wasn't like drug dealer. I mean, whatever. Hollywood, you can get whatever you want from somebody, right?
Yeah.
But right when that happened, like, I think like the next
Sorry, keep going.
I literally moved out. Like I moved out of it. He basically kicked me out as a roommate because Cece was coming over all the time. Instead of having a different girl over every night, like for some reason he could have a different girl every night. And all of a sudden when I had the same one, it's like she's got to start paying rent, even though she lived right down the street and had paid her own rent. But it was kind of a weird thing. All right, cool. So we got our own place. Soon after that, like after the whole pregnancy thing and all that, like the feds actually kicked down his freaking door and arrested him. And he actually did 7 years in federal prison for he basically got set up by someone else that said, hey, you need to hook up this guy. He basically found out a way to sell to somebody who was an undercover cop. And it took him several months to do that while being on surveillance. And he ultimately had to do 7 years. But I could have been his roommate, and I don't know what implications I could have had, right? And then this and that. And it's like, dude, let's get the F out of Hollywood, dude. Like, I'm about to be a dad. So anyways, I became a dad. But the guy that I was talking about, Scotty Larson, he was the smartest kid I ever met, but he kind of hit rock bottom feeling like I think when he turned 30 years old, same kind of thing. He opened up the tanning salon. He did this, he did that. And then he was trying to make it as a producer director. Somebody that he hired 8 years previous at that tanning salon was a recruiter for Wyndham. That's who I worked for. So he moved out to get a fresh start, and he was kind of like dabbled in, some pills and whatever. And so he kind of went there to like start a new life and kind of get on a new path. Within the 6 months that he was there, I was like, dude, like just talking on the phone, he's in the greatest place ever. Dude, I'm waking up at 6 a.m, I'm working out and I'm this and I'm that, looking healthy, looking like 10 years younger than he ever did. And I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. So he convinced me to actually move out to San Antonio, Texas. Giovanni was 5 months old at the time. So we did get a house. We bought a house in Chino outside of Hollywood. That was the start of like getting out of there. And then just took a move to kind of be with this company. From there, we did a year there, and then we were going to come back. And then we ended up going to Destin, Florida. He became a manager over there, and then we followed his footsteps. And now we've been in Clearwater for 5 years. But same company, same everything. The way I met Scotty, though, is, well, after meeting Scotty, so you're doing all this YouTube stuff. I would love to get back into this, by the way. Like we do a lot of traveling, like with the kids. I just don't know how to edit anything. I don't know how to do anything. I want to
You can hire people for that.
No, yeah, I know. I could totally help you. So you just let me know after this call, and I'll help you. But yeah, YouTube is like where it's at. Even like all the people getting famous on like TikTok and on even on Instagram, you'll see they all go to YouTube because they know that that's where the money is at. But it's easier to like do short form content, But
Yeah.
long form is where it's at. So I would be happy to help you, and I think you would kill it on YouTube. Like your energy and just like your personality, and you're so charismatic. Like people would love you.
People do love you.
Well, awesome. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
We do a lot of traveling, and I basically like annoyingly to my wife, like I'm always videoing and but I just put them like in the YouTube stories, and sometimes I save the stories, but there's not that many people. I only have like 3,500 friends or something. They're like, dude, you should like there's so much better than these like videos that they go on YouTube that have like going to Italy. Cause I always have like every little part. We go to Italy every single year, and it's like me and friends and kids, and we're doing more than like,
What the heck? Take us with you. Let me know next time you go. I want to go.
Let's go. We're going in September. We're going for like 3
I'm
weeks.
turning 40. I'm like, I need to do something fun for my birthday. Like maybe I'll go to Italy. Um,
Yeah.
who do you
But I
go
want to
with?
tell you, so this YouTube thing, check this out. So
Yeah.
back in those days, it was almost like being signed, like in the band, like we were signed to Maker Studios. Do you know Maker Studios? You know what that
Yeah.
is?
Yeah, I do.
So, I mean, it was Sam
You were
Macaroni.
signed to them?
Well, basically, yeah, they like owned our stuff. So they would give us like a budget for every single video that we made. So this was like my best friend at the time, Sam Macaroni, and we were doing all these videos together. We were blowing stuff up, we were breaking things, but we would get paid for it, and we just have to submit, hey, we're gonna do this bomb, explosion, in the middle of the desert, and it's gonna cost us $2,000 for this explosion, and we're gonna like pretend that we're making popcorn out of a bomb, and then with all these hot girls, and boom, and they're picking up the popcorn, and oh my god! So there's a lot of videos. I have a lot of the videos. If you just put Sam Macaroni, Davin Delosa, there's like a whole bunch of fun videos. We did a lot of parodies. That's where I did some of those rap parodies.
Yeah.
We filmed one in Japan, about like peer pressure, like just a lot of fun, funny stuff. Another guy, rest in peace. He died on a day before his 50th birthday on March, I want to say 14th, just recently. Super freaking crazy. Everybody's freaking gone. The two guys that I did that with, Scotty and Macaroni. Well, okay, but what I was gonna say is through Maker though, I think they like owned. It was really Sam Macaroni's deal. So like him, we were doing stuff with like Ray William Johnson at the time. Like he was the biggest thing in the world. And it was, when a video would get, I think he was the first person to have 4 million subscribers on a whole, you know what I mean? Before every kid could just come off and like, a billion views, a million views. Like people weren't getting that. It was fun. I always feel like right at the beginning of so many different, things, like I stopped the band right before that next level. The whole YouTube thing, we like stopped right before it completely took off. That whole kind of stopped when Disney bought Maker, and then Disney Studios, and then they kind of paid out a lot of the top guys, Shay Carl, like the people that were right there, Sam Macaroni, and that like our little crew. But it was fun, and we did a lot. Like we used to go to to the Maker Studios, and there'd be like it was like going to Universal Studios like on set, like to film a movie. And like there was hair and makeup, there's costumes, there's this, there's that. Snoop's doing his thing right over here with the green screen. We're playing ping pong here. Hey, we're doing this, and we get other YouTubers like, dude, do you want to be in ours and we'll be in yours, and we could like share, and that was like the beginning of it all, and to see what's happened with it now is like, holy crap, dude, I was like at the beginning of all that. Steve-O just did a really nice, he was like part of like the Jackass crew. So Steve-O just made a really nice video in homage to Sam Macaroni, who taught Steve-O, from Jackass how to edit and all that kind of stuff. And they did a lot of stuff over the last 10 years together, both being sober. That's the other thing. Sam Macaroni's been completely sober for like the last 10 years, and brain aneurysm, gone.
God.
So crazy, right?
So that's how he passed? He like
Mhm.
did he have a family?
The crazy thing is this. So you guys, that things always, you notice things happen for a reason. Things always happen for a reason, and they're not really. I just recently read a book called The Celestine Prophecies, and it's about like recognizing that coincidences are not coincidences at all. It's just it's energies coming together, right? I mean, it happens to me every day. I mean, I can tell you a million stories of this. But right before we went on this vacation, my son pulls out this shirt, not this shirt. It's YouTube Money, because we made a song called YouTube Money. I'm making YouTube money, spending everybody else's money on my guns because it's funny. And we were just basically mocking the fact that like we're getting paid by making these stupid YouTube monies, and we're putting hot chicks in the, we'd rent a stretch limo with a, convertible, and we're, wearing gold chains, and we're like, yeah, we're just, making YouTube money. So and then when we went to Japan, we promoted it. And so we have a shirt with my face and his face, and it says YouTube Money. And right before we went on that vacation, my son pulled it out of a bin, my 7-year-old, and he's super, obviously, YouTube. Like, he's like, what's this? Who's that? I'm like, that's Sam Macaroni. Like, remember I've talked about, we started watching all these videos that I've been in. It's like, dude, I didn't know you had it. Like, my son, he's like, this is awesome. I have an 11-year-old and a 7-year-old, Giovanni and Rad. So he's talking about this. So hold on, let me get a picture. I took a picture of him, and I sent it to Sam Macaroni, and I hadn't talked to him for a little bit. And I was expecting him to write back and be like, fucking rad, dude. Like, hell yeah. And, he knows my son's name is Rad. And he's always like, everything's fucking rad. You know, I'm like, I named my son Red. I had his, I had him tattooed on me before, this is like my 80s arm. I grew up in the 80s. So Rad, might as well name my son Rad. What's crazy is he never responded to that. And it kind of like upset me. Like, dude, why would he not even like respond? Like, my son wearing freaking YouTube, And it turned out, I found out like when I got back from the trip that Sam had passed away. Well, what's crazy is, and then we're talking to Prince family. I got a call from Sylvan, Natty, Sylvan from Ladue, and he's like, dude, he's still like in a coma, and he didn't actually pass. They pulled out whatever. So Sylvan called me from the hospital. He's like, I'm literally sitting here with Sam Macaroni right now. He could hear you, according to what the doctors are saying. He's like, I got Scooby Doo playing in the background right now. He's just snoring away peacefully right here. If you want to talk to him, you can, and he's like, Sam, I got someone someone on the phone here. I'm going to put it on speakerphone, wants to talk to you. I got the chills right now. So he literally put the phone up to Sam and I'm like, dude, no wonder why you didn't freaking write back to me. Like, dude, you been in a coma? Like, well, I was going to be like, dude, what the like, but I got a chance to like talk to him for like 10 minutes, at least on my end, and just be like, dude, I miss you more than anything in the world, man. Like, I'll never forget the times we had. I'm, we have these videos like that'll, be precious to me for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Love that guy so much, but it was so nice to kind of get closure on my end a little bit, just to be able to say, like, how many times do you lose somebody and be like, dude, I wish I could talk to him one more time. And you look at their phone and you look at your old texts. And it's so weird that you can't just throw a text and like have them read it. Sometimes I do throw a text, even though they're gone. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys have ever done that, but I do. Sometimes I'll text, Scotty, my other best friend, and just so you know, I'm thinking about you, bro. Love you, man. Um, but so what I'm talking about is this whole thing, like my son pulling out the shirt, the YouTube money, right? And the whole going through this whole like wormhole of our videos, me and Sam Macaroni together and this and that. The whole time, I think it was like him reaching out because I talked to, every other person that I talked to, everyone had a story. Dude, I hadn't talked to him in 2 years and all of a sudden, like I threw him a text. I hadn't done this and all of a sudden, it was almost like he was going around and like reaching out to everybody. Like everybody had that story. Like I'm such a freaking believer that like he was there letting us, you know what I mean? Like there's no way there could be that many coincidences. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
Um,
totally.
but I
I
love
think
that stuff.
too. I think that that's so cool. What a beautiful story. Oh my gosh. Um, God, wow, you like honestly, I feel like we could talk to you for like 5 hours. So going back, like let's rewind a little bit because like I have questions and I'm sure people watching or listening will too. So like you you very like quickly went over the fact that like we all grew up in LA, right? Natty, didn't you also grow up in LA? Yeah, because I feel
Sure
like
did.
most people don't like grow up in LA, Like we're very rare for all three of us to have grown up in LA and for us it's all we know. We just grew up with that life, so we don't know any different. But most people, that's not normal for you to just like, oh, I'm in commercials and no big deal, like doing acting and all that stuff. And so I think it's a dream for so many people to like be in the entertainment industry, which is now social media and YouTube is like now the new like mainstream form of entertainment. So it's funny that like it's circling back, right? And you're gonna end up
Totally.
like being YouTube famous like all over again. But like, how did you get into acting and modeling like as a child? Like, how did that even happen?
Well, at the time, my mom. So there's a show called Chips. If you guys might remember Chips, the two cops. There's Ponch and
Eric Estrada.
Eric Estrada, and the other guy's Tom Riley. Well, Tom Riley was friends with my parents at the time, and he was like a model. It was the guy that came on, and he did like a few years, like the really good looking blonde hair.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so his name was Tom Riley, and I remember he lived right right up the hill there. Um, at the time, I remember being like 4 or 5, and he it was right before he got the job with Chips. That was like his big breakout, and he had his German Shepherd that became my first dog. His name was Pepper, and that was my dog for the next until I was like 16 years old. But he couldn't take care of the dog because he got busy on set and this, that, whatever. But I think he got his agent to say like, DJ is like, or he called me DJ. I was DJ a lot of the time growing up. Cute kid and his sister. So me and my sister both, I think that's how it started. Oh, the first thing I got, this is a pretty funny story. The first job I think that I booked outside of that CNC commercial was like, I was Cubby in the Disney Musketeers, right? It was a big audition, and I was going to be the drummer for the Disney Musketeers. And at the time, Disney went on strike. And so I had like drum lessons. I mean, I had a whole contract. I still have the contract. My dad saved like all this stuff. So now all these years later, it's funny. I literally looked at this contract recently. So I'm on contract with Disney. I couldn't book any other movies or do anything else because I'm a Disney Musketeer. But they were on strike. So like a year and a half later, when the strike ended, okay, we're going to start filming. Well, it turns out everyone that they cast was like a year and a half older, right? So they brought in the new cast. The new cast, and this is again going back to like missing things right here. The new cast was like Christina Aguilera, Justin Timberlake, like that whole
Ryan Gosling was in that cast.
yeah, like everyone that became like crazy stars. Like, dude, I was supposed to be there, and I
So
got
close.
recasted out. So I got paid for like a year and a half for like to do nothing and drum lessons, and that's kind of how I learned how to play drums, I guess, as I was a kid. And then like I guess how it ended for me, a few things. I did this movie Newsies with like, Christian Bale was his first movie and it was fun. It was a Disney musical and it was between that and a movie Hook at the time. And, I ended up doing Disney and some of my friends did Hook. Remember with the,
Rufio.
Rufio, yeah. Anyways, I had like a lead role in that, but there was so much dancing and singing and all this stuff involved that 3 months into that, some other kid, Luke Edwards, cool dude, awesome, cool guy, cool actor. He had just done like The Wizard with what's his name? He just done a few big movies that like, hey, his name is bigger than mine. I'm a nobody, right? So they ended up like giving him my role and then making me like a featured newsie. So they actually like to make up for it. I mean, I'm in the movie a bunch, but like I'm on the cover. If you look at like the Disney soundtrack, it's me like clicking my heels with a newspaper in my hand. Like it's just me like, hey, and I'll never forget like, they're like, yeah, we put you on the cover, blah, blah, blah. That was like them making up for it. Well, the next movie I did was going to be Mighty Ducks 2. And I already knew like a bunch of the Mighty Ducks because we had worked together. Brandon Adams was there, Aaron Lohr from Newsies, like, and it wasn't about being an actor. It was just like, this my normal life. But we started like filming. We had like school on set. The next day was hockey practice for the first time. And then Mike Vitar, who had just done like Sandlot and something else, like he's a big name. His manager came in and like, take my role. I'm out. He's in. And for me, I think I was only like 12, 13 at the time. And I was like, dude, this is like, it was so cutthroat, like as a little kid. And I was like, I've already had to leave school every day at like 11, 12 o'clock at lunch. I was the only kid I had a pager at the time, pagers were like not allowed at school, but I could have one because I'm the actor kid, but I couldn't do like, sports at school. So at that point, it was like, dude, I'm done. And my parents, they never ever made like force me to do anything. But I think as soon as that happened, I was like, I don't ever want to go on audition ever again. My mom and dad's like, all right, cool, no big deal, And then I just literally never went on audition again.
I want to ask you about something. Can you tell us about the bad video?
Oh, Moonwalker. It's funny, yeah. So we filmed that for like, yeah, Batter.
I
So
thought
it's
you
like
were
the
in
baby
the bad
dad.
video.
I am.
Maybe
So
that's right.
the movie's called Moonwalker. Michael Jackson, Moonwalker.
Have you ever seen that movie? It is the
I'm
most
in it.
bizarre movie. Wait, you are in it. But
Yeah.
I watched that movie for the first time recently. Shan, you got to watch it. It has got to be the most bizarre 80s thing you've ever seen, like, in your life.
I'm going to watch it tonight, and then I'm going to text you.
Yeah, I mean, how
like,
funny
what
is
the
it
fuck
too?
am I doing?
Our group chat.
So it's like baby bad. So it's like, yeah. So we're all like little kids that are all. I had a better 5 o'clock shadow than I could grow right now, and I was like, I think 8 or 9 years old at the time. But I was like in the blue jumpsuit with the gold chains. But we filmed that on Universal. I think that was Universal Studios, or maybe that was a Warner. I don't know, one of those lots. But that was another like, I think it was like a 4 or 5 month, like, you had to learn all the dances and all that kind of stuff and then filming. It took a long time to film that.
Damn, dude. I
But
could never.
the funny thing is,
like do that and like do all that fun stuff that you're talking about, but like when my parents put me in like ballet and tap, like at our like actual recital, everybody was like going right and I was going left because like I didn't know my right from left. Like I was like literally the dumbest kid. Choreography for shit, and guess what? I still can't. You know how like all the TikTok people with their dances, like I can't get famous for that because I can't dance for shit. Like you're lucky you have all this practice from when you were a kid.
Well, maybe I missed that part, and you just made me realize when I was a kid. So my mom owns dance studios. She still owns dance studios to this day, like 50 something years now. So when I
That
was a kid, I
explains
was
it.
forced to dance, and I wanted nothing to do with it. But I like because she forced me to do it. It obviously made me better in sports and stuff. And I probably wouldn't have done all these music videos with all these artists and stuff, and Newsies and all that stuff. But like I was like 5 years old, 6 years old on Star Search. Star Search was like the America's Got Talent back then, with Ed McMahon, and there's a judge and you get 1 to 4 stars. Like I was on Star Search several times as like a little kid. But
So
I was like kind of forced. So I guess to this day I still know choreography. My wife says the same thing. Like we went to like a Greek party recently, and there's all these Greek dances. You go in the line. Like, dude, I could nail the choreography like first time. Like she's like, dude, how do you do it? I'm like, I don't know. I think it's because I was
yeah.
forced to dance when I was a kid. I remember my mom, I never wanted to like, I'm like, I don't want to tap ever again. My mom's like, you got to, when you're double digits, you can make your own decision on that. Like she would never let me miss because I played soccer and baseball and stuff as well. So I wouldn't have to miss like a baseball game for something. But if I had a soccer practice and a dance recital, the dance recital was more important. And I would just be like crying, no, I don't want to do it. So on my 10th birthday, I'm like, I never want to dance ever again. Like I got that was my 10th birthday wish.
Yeah.
Again, going back, no regrets, right?
So crazy. So people are probably listening and being like, holy shit, he was in a Michael Jackson like music video. So wait, was it a music video and a movie?
Yeah, so Moonwalker, it's Michael, it's bad. So it's the batter, I'm bad, but so it's baby bad batter, Badder. You'll see it.
What was
Everybody
it?
knows
Like,
it
what was
because
the
everybody freaking remembers that from back in those days. And then what's crazy is after that, I ended up booking I ended up working with the Jacksons for a long time actually. Jackie Jackson. So I started rapping, and I was like, I was doing a little bit of everything, I guess. And but nothing was ever like planned. Oh, I'm going to be a rapper. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
But there was this audition that I auditioned for, and I had to go in there and rap. And like, yeah, I wrote some raps and then I got a call back, and then a second call back, and then a third call back. And it's the same kind of thing as going on an audition for a movie. I kept getting these, callbacks. And then the last one was like, hey, you're going to, and at the time it wasn't necessarily like, we know what this project is. It was basically like them putting a boy band together, right? The last day was at the Jackson Mansion in Encino. So where, the Jacksons, where where they all grew up, right?
was on
You know,
Havenhurst, right?
yeah, yeah, Havenhurst, absolutely. So I was there, and I think like Jackie Jackson, the oldest Jackson brother, he ended up being our producer. He was the one that did everything. But I got the job. Like I was in the band, so it was called the Mix, MIXX. So I was a white kid. There was a Mexican kid. There was a Jamaican kid, and then two black kids. DJ Wayne Russ, DJ Donnie Wayne Ray, and Russ. Yeah. But it's so funny too. So, anyways, we recorded at the Jackson Mansion. I was at that house freaking every day for I don't know how long recording this records. And I mean, I remember going to Japan, being a little kid with like Another Bad Creation. Remember Another Bad Creation? Aisha, you are the girl that I never had, and I want to get to know you. Remember At the Playground? Whatever. I forgot about a lot of this stuff until you guys are asking me. All of a sudden, I'm talking about stuff that I actually forgot. Where was I even going with that? But yeah, the Jacksons, dude. The Jacksons were, I did a lot of. They're cool, man. Great family, and I did a lot of stuff with Wade. Wade Robson. All that stuff came out after the fact, and I
Wade
still
Robson
don't.
was the choreographer, right?
Yeah,
He
like
was
me
like
and
famous for
him.
being like Britney Spears' choreographer at like what was that dance studio? Millennium?
Yep, yep. But me
I
and
haven't thought
him,
about that in a long time either.
him and I had a group. We called ourselves DW. Diggity DW stands for DJ and Wade. We're wicked white, biggity bad. You know what I'm saying? we're dancing entertainers, and that's not all. We're eating the Cheerios to get big and tall. So we did a lot of we did the what was it, the MTV Music Awards, and I like performed on it, and we danced, and or Youth and Film Awards was that? Oh yeah, MTV Music Awards. That's what I did with Paula Abdul. I was on that with Paula Abdul back in the days, and yeah, it's weird. I'm finding a lot of stuff that I forgot about.
We're
Well,
just bringing it all out.
isn't it kind of funny though how like now that we're parents and you have kids, like I know I had a life before my kids, but like what did I do? You know, like I have no idea what I did before what I'm doing now. It's kind of like
Yeah,
what you're saying, you know? Like I haven't thought about this in a while. I guess the memories are still there.
the memories are still there. But speaking of, dude, I love my life now. Like I would never ever trade anything for what I have right now. And when I tell you like I want to kind of like if I want to transition to doing stuff like this, like what I would love more than anything is to be like one of those families that travel the world and just put the content out there, and I can make enough money to like because my kids love traveling. They've all been traveling since they were born. You know, since each one of them, they'll get on planes and there's like, excuse me, like I know what I'm doing. Like flight attendants will be like, oh, no, look out, like I got it. They get their little stuff situated, they got their little thing. They're just like professional travelers. You know what I mean? So, um, and
Cute.
they've been all over the world, and it's fun. But
So do
yeah,
you homeschool also?
no, they go to school, but I have no problem taking them out of school because they're really good. They're really good kids. They're smart kids. I mean, they're all way smarter than I've ever been. Like, the first time Giovanni, he like took his little testing after preschool, and it's like, you're in the 99th percentile or something. I'm like, holy crap. And then the next kid, same thing, like 98th percent. I'm like, dude, how are these kids so smart? Cece's pretty smart, you know. And now Raven.
You're
So my
smart
boys are
too.
11 and 7. And what?
Dude, you're smart too, dude.
Yeah, you're really
I
smart.
don't know about like I don't know. I was never like freaking get in school, that kind of thing. So anyways,
I mean, you're not
I,
CC smart, but you know.
yeah, yeah. But what I'm getting at is the first time when I was to take a big trip and I want to take them out of school for 2 or 3 weeks. Cece's like, dude, we can't do that. There's no way. I'm like, watch this. I just sent an email to the teacher. Hey, is it cool? We're gonna go to Italy for like 2.5 weeks. Instant reply. Well, that's a better education they're gonna get in the classroom. Have fun. Take some pictures. Come back with stories. Let me give you some homework. So now it's just an organic. Every year they already know. I mean, there's a new teacher every year. But as soon as they start, in August, I'm going to let them know, hey, we're going to be gone in September and October, and I'm going to ask you for their schoolwork. One of the trips we left on like Monday, and I think we left for like 19 days. And on Friday, they got like, almost 3 weeks of homework, and they just powered through it Saturday and Sunday. And we went on vacation, and they had it all done. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I,
I
that's so
think
cool.
that
You
is more
could
important.
definitely do that. Yeah, you could definitely do like homeschool, and they'll probably learn way more than they would in the classroom anyway. The principal is right. But 100, 1,000%, like you need to do a like family travel, like YouTube channel, and I would be happy to help with whatever you need. Text me, I'll like help you with whatever, like get brand deals, like all the things, so that you're
Hell
able to
yeah.
like do it. It's so fun, honestly. Like when you say that you love your life now, I like look back and I'm obviously like my life is a lot different from what yours. Like yours is way cooler than mine. Mine was cool when I was younger. It's not cool now. It's not respected. You know what I mean? Like all the things. But I feel like now, like I'm so lucky to have the life that I live. Like I don't know how I got here, but I'm just really, I'm really lucky and happy that I did. But I feel like I genuinely feel like if I had to wake up tomorrow and like a genie could like put a magic wand over me and say like Shannon, you can have and like be whatever you want to be, like what would you do? Like I would literally choose exactly what I'm doing right now. And I feel like I don't know, I guess like happy, but also like because I've I live this life and I've like reached this success I feel like that I've like wanted, like you have like somewhere like you want to reach, and like you do it again and then again, you're like, okay, this is cool, but like now I'm at the point where like I want to help other people do what I've been able to do, and I still want to do what I'm doing because I love it and it's like fun. And look, being able to like vlog all those travels, like you have those memories like your kids are gonna look back on, and like all the stuff you were talking about with like Sam Macaroni, like all those videos, like when they're no longer here and you're no longer here, that's like the legacy that you're gonna be leaving behind for like generations, like your
Totally.
kids kids will be watching those videos of you traveling to Italy and like what it was like, and like, and also just for your kids to be able to like look back on when they're older, I think is so cool. It's like just like you talk about like vacations and you're like, dude, you don't know if you're gonna have tomorrow to live, right? Like
Yeah,
document everything because you don't know like if you have
totally.
tomorrow.
Totally.
And so
And it's like one thing Cece used to like really get mad about, like, cause she was like anti social media, anti anything, you know? And now she fully 1,000,000% like appreciates it, like thanks. Like each one of my kids, believe it or not, Giovanni's had an Instagram for 11 years now. He's 11 years old. Rad's had one for 7 years and Raven's had one for 5 years. She'll be five next week. But I mean, it's a account run by mom and dad, right? But it's, Raven Alessia, Giovanni Delosa, Rad Delosa, but everything in there from the day they're born to, I mean, for me, it's just like a photo album that's
yeah.
hopefully never going to go away. But, like the second time we went to Italy, I'll never forget Raven looking at her first time in Italy. She was just walking. She's like, that's me with my tutu coming out of the, like, yeah, we were coming out of the Vatican. Look at you. And she's like, she's playing like with the street performers, eating gelato. She's like, but it's like Raven running the streets of Italy. And she's like 13
Yeah.
months old. And
Yeah.
she'll still tell you that she remembers those stories, the
Hmm.
first time in Italy, but she watches the videos, she sees the pictures and all that stuff. And they'll go through that stuff. And it's like, I don't remember exactly where I was, when I
Yeah.
was 3, 4, 5.
I
But
know.
if I was looking at pictures and videos, along the way growing up, I'd tell you stories about that. You know what I mean?
It's
So
like the modern day photo albums, you know? It's like
yeah.
it's what it is. It's like their Instagram accounts. I know I started the kids, I mean like the kids have been documented since before they were born, just like a thought. And then like the whole pregnancy we documented. We documented them coming out of my vagina. Like, they've seen it all. It's all there. And so it's just really cool. I know some people are weird about having their kids on social media, but like my perspective of it is so different than theirs. Like they look in life, you can look at the negative and the positive of things, and
Yeah.
if you constantly just thinking about negative things, like you're not going to have a very happy life, But like if you're looking at like the positive things of like we are, is the kids are not being harmed, like they're living their best life. They're set. Like I was telling Natty on our last show, like my kids are set. Like they will never want for anything. Like they have real estate, like they have every video we make, like a portion of whatever, AdSense money or brand deals that we get, like goes to them. And so, you
That's
know,
amazing.
yeah, like they'll
How old are
never
your
have.
kids now?
So Storm, my youngest, is 4, and my oldest Snow is 6.
Dude, we got to
Yeah,
all get together.
I
You're
know.
in Nashville,
I'm
or no,
in,
you're in Knoxville.
yeah, and you're in Clearwater, and Natty. Well, Natty's going to be coming out, so we should all. Maybe you guys can all come out here and it'd be fun.
Yeah,
We'll like go on the boat, and we'll, like
yeah, I'm
record it.
totally down. I used to have a bunch of friends in Knoxville that used to work in Pigeon Forge and Smoky Mountains, and they lived in Knoxville. That's where Scotty was living, my buddy that ended up passing away.
Yeah,
But I have to go to Nashville coming up too, so maybe we could get a little
plan it.
trip.
I would love to. We should definitely do this, and then we can do we could do an episode in person. It'd be so fun.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
Can I tell you some funny stories that I was telling Natty too?
Oh, nice.
my quotable kid. What is that? That's so cute.
So, I've had this since since Giovanni was born, and it's so fun. Like recently, he went through it, like as an 11-year-old right now, and
Yeah.
it's I mean they can go through it at any time, but basically like each page, it's like you know Giovanni says like it says the date 9/12/2017 morning time running around. Giovanni says, "Daddy, what are these? What is these?" While holding his junk. Dad says, "Those are your balls." And Giovanni says, "No, they're not, because there's no balls in there." And I say, "Yes, there is." I forgot that wasn't even the one I wanted to read. Like, there's so many freaking good ones, but like anytime somebody says something funny, like while they're young, like it's
Yeah.
going in there.
I love
But
that.
like the one where we were like, we were on the boat, and we were in Destin, Florida, and and my friends, like, my friends were on there, they were making out or something, kissing, and me and G are on the back, and I'm like, we got this life jacket on, we're about to get out there, and he's like, "Daddy, how come every time people kiss, my pee-pee gets hard?" At 3 years old. And I'm like, that's going in the book. I can't wait to put that in there.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Oh, kids are such a trip. I didn't know they had like a quote book. That's a good idea. I'm gonna go
It's
buy one
right.
now. I'm
Yeah.
literally going to Amazon. I'm adding it to my Amazon storefront. I'm gonna make all my friends get one so that they can do
Yeah.
that with their kids. And then I'm gonna watch your movie tonight. What is
All
it?
right.
Matter?
Yeah. Watch that.
No, it's
Yeah.
Moonwalker.
Oh, Moonwalker.
Oh,
Okay.
you just have to watch I'll watch the baby back. Well, yeah, watch it, whatever. You know, it's funny though, when I was thinking about remember, I've always wanted, even though I knew I was going to be a good dad. I didn't have a kid. I'm like older than you guys. I didn't have Giovanni until I was 34. And so I'm already 46. And Natty met Giovanni when he was like a month old,
That's the
you know,
last time I saw you
but
when I was pregnant with Hallie.
that's freaking crazy. I know. And, but what's funny is me and Natty, we totally definitely had like a plan that dude, if we don't find like that other significant somebody, we'll just have kids together. Like, you down? I'm down. Are
Yeah,
you down? All
yeah.
right.
Like
I was
I can
totally
have kids with
willing
you.
to just
This would be fine.
have a cool person that's we're gonna have I always wanted to be a dad, so I'm so glad that I got the the opportunity to be, and it's been freaking awesome, you
I
know.
love
And
that.
you can
That's so
totally
cool.
put pictures of my kids or whatever, you know.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for the permission. Okay, you're gonna start your YouTube channel again. Do you already have one?
I do. There's some stuff on it, it's yeah. So you'll have to help me with some sort of. I don't know if
I'll put it in here. I'll put his YouTube so that you guys can go follow it and go support him. And then, are you also on like
yeah.
Instagram?
Instagram is just my first and last name, Davin Delosa.
Okay.
DELLDAVINDELLOSA. Yep. But yeah, hit me on that one. I have all my stories. I was gonna say if I could well, I'll tell you afterwards. But yeah, not on that. But I'm good at putting the stories together. I feel just because I could add music to something and put whatever I just recorded and it goes there. But if
Yeah.
I could just take each one of those, Florence, Italy, Rome, Italy, Sicily, whatever,
Perfect.
and I want to just take all that and put it onto a YouTube and have someone edit it. I'm like, dude, that'd be a really good freaking I already
Especially
pieced it together.
yeah, if you already have all the footage, um, and I can talk to you about like how to get it up or like the best like strategic way to do it so that people want to actually like follow you and you get a lot of views. Because I think that's like a tricky thing is like you could have a really interesting story and a really interesting life, but if you don't strategically, and this was a mistake I made when I first started because I just didn't know, like if you don't just strategically like post and edit a certain way and know like certain things about like the business side of it, it's kind of just like a big waste of time, and it takes so much longer, like so much longer. So yeah, if you can just like find someone that's already done what you want to do, it just collapses your time so much easier or like so much faster to be able to just
Yeah,
Anyway, so I'm happy to help you with that. But thank
cool.
you so much for coming on. Is there anything that you want to like any last words or that you want to leave us with?
Not really. I love you guys. What do you want to leave me with?
What's like a quote that you say often? Or go ahead.
Gimmicks.
A gimmick.
Gimmicks. Do you still
I still
have
got my
gimmicks?
gimmick tattoo, of course, of course. Everything's a gimmick. Everything's a gimmick. Um,
Everything. Do you remember being in Vegas running around going, I can't lose.
I can't
I
lose. I
can't
can't lose.
lose.
I still can't. I'm literally, that's my, so literally that, dude, I win every freaking raffle. I'm all, dude, it's all about, I know the secret to life is literally manifesting whatever you want to happen and it freaking happens. So any kind of raffle, I'm like, dude, watch, it's not even fair. I always freaking win. Watch. I get my little rapper. Told you. I got, it's so funny. I literally figured out the secret to life is freaking just believing in it. And I have this I think therefore I am tattoo here, but I've had forever. And I think I'm going to win. I'm going to win. If I know I'm going to win, I'm going to win. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
know I'm going to be successful. I will be successful. But, you know, really, I guess, the biggest thing that I always, that the reason why I love my job so much is just that I think family is the most important thing in the world. And right next to my desk, my desk is Phil, I'll send you a picture of my desk at work. It's literally the whole thing is surrounded by 1,000 pictures of from Japan to Australia to Hawaii to Mexico to, Italy to everywhere, the Bahamas and Tennessee and New York. It's just all the trips we've taken in the last 10 and a half years. So it's just my family stuff. but next to my desk it says, "Never get so busy making a living you forget to make a life." And that came from my grandfather gave me that. And my grandpa was like one of my best friends. Like I got him tattooed right here, you know. They were married 67 years. Gramps was like 97. Grandma was 99 and 10 months when she passed. But Gramps was like my best friend. But he always, in the beginning, his brag used to be like, I came from Italy, didn't have two dimes to rub together. I have 3 jobs. I work 20 hours a day, blah, blah, blah. And that was his brag. Later on, his brag was like, dude, I wish, or not the brag, but his thoughts were, I wish I would have spent more time with your dad and your aunt and your uncle growing up. And he was closer to me and my cousins maybe than he was with his own kids. So that to me, like, you know, really, I'll never forget that. So for me, I'm like, you know what? That's why I vacation so much. I take more days off than work than anybody in my office, probably like double, triple, quadruple the time. And some people think I'm crazy. And I'm like, dude, you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. And that to me is like way, way, way more important than anything else. Live your best life. Live in the now. That's another thing we also say, Natty. Are you living in the now? And somebody be
Yeah.
like, "Yep, too late." I always say, "Too late." Wait, what? Are you living in the now?
Yeah.
Yeah, too late.
Yeah.
Live in the now. But yeah, that to me, that's what's important.
I love that
Anyway,
so much. And I love that, like, each and every one of us on here right now lived a life that most people would think probably not going to like make it out alive, or, you know, they're probably going down like a real bad path. These are not the people that, like, you know, you want to be your role models. But now, like, look at us. Like, we all are very successful. We're happy. We have families. So, like, anybody watching this that maybe is in a spot that, you know, you're like confused, you're stuck, or you think, you know, like, what did I used to think, like, I don't know. I had fun, but I felt like, I don't know, like adult life, you know? So like for people watching, I think like you'll be very inspiring, and like your story is so not just like entertaining, but like also super inspiring, you know, and encouraging for like other people to hear it. So I'm super grateful that you took the time out of your day, because I know how precious everyone's time is, to come on and hang out with us and share your story. And I hope that the people listening, or I feel like the people that need to hear your story will be listening to it right now.
I
awesome,
agree 100%.
Yeah.
awesome.
Awesome. Well,
All
thank you
right.
so much.
Well, I
We'll
love you
definitely,
guys. Let's get
we love
together. You got a place to
Yes.
stay in Clearwater Beach. Come to Clearwater Beach. You guys got. I already told Natty I got a place on the beach. Come hang out. We'll meet up in Tennessee, Ohio,
yeah.
Let's
Iowa.
manifest a reunion. Nobody
Yeah,
wants to come to
definitely.
Iowa, okay?
And when we come hang out, we're all in person. We'll do another show so that anyone listening or watching can look forward to that. But we love you. We're
Yeah.
sending you all of our love and all of our positive energy, and we hope to see you on our next episode. Mwah.
Yes.